Yeah.
Today, we have something that has a title that most people don't actually grasp onto.
Well, listen, please.
It's a great title.
Listen, please.
I agree.
It's based, I'm taking my direction from the book of Proverbs.
Okay.
There are 10 verses, chapter 18.
Okay.
But essentially the second verse, the one who lives alone is self-indulgent, showing contempt for all who have sound judgment. A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing personal opinions. When wickedness comes, contempt comes also, and with dishonor comes disgrace. The words of the mouth are deep waters. The fountain of wisdom is a gushing stream. It is not right to be partial to the guilty or to subvert the innocent in judgment. A fool's lips bring strife, and a fool's mouth invites flogging. The mouth of fools are their ruin, and their lips a snare to themselves. The words of a whisperer are like delicious morsels. They go down into the inner parts of the body. One who is slack in work is close kin to a vandal. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous run into it and are safe. Obviously, there's a lot here we're not going to talk about. Essentially, it's talking about the mouth.
Okay. Yeah, thanks. Break it down for me in a simplistic.
Well, we use our mouths, and soon we reveal who we are by the way we talk, or the way we don't talk. Don't just stand there, do something. The instinctive desire to save ourselves by doing something, no matter what may be, is a feeling we all know well.
Okay.
Wise judgment, however, compels us to stop, listen, and think before acting in panic.
Well, that's not common these days.
Just don't stand there, do something, but if you do something without thinking first, you're asking for disaster.
It's hard to stand on the right side of that one.
Well,
it's difficult.
Yeah, it is difficult.
Don't just, like, that's your joke, right? Don't just do something, stand there.
That's right.
But don't just stand there, do something. But if you do something without thinking, disaster.
If you think before acting, in panic. Immediate action often is the worst and most destructive response to a need than we can make. I call it instinctive, immediate or instinctive response. Like throwing water on burning oil, for example. We can easily compound the problem rather than alleviate it. So in our relationships, I want to talk about the use of the mouth.
Okay.
James talks about that. He says the fires of hell are kindled by our mouth.
Wow.
How is that taking it literally?
Wow. I like that.
Yeah.
Simple to understand.
Simple to understand. And he said, James says, be careful what you talk about and how you talk. Human relations are more volatile than physical objects, and the consequences of our actions can create havoc and vast in its scope. And yet we, who have been trained carefully by our environment to think before we act, in adjusting to the physical world around us, are most careless and destructive in adjusting to the world of people or society. No? We have our opinions made, and they are made up already about people, young and old, about governments, about issues, and about a million other things. And we express those opinions instinctively, never stopping to evaluate the harm we cause and the pain and suffering that ensues.
Mm-hmm.
While people around us say to us, "Listen, please," we violate that dignity by closed minds, open mouths, and nervous hearts. We try to cover up our own deep insecurities by appearing knowledgeable. Instead, all we succeed in being is judgmental.
Yeah.
He who learns to listen, learns to understand the meaning of grace.
Really?
Think about that. He who learns to listen. Learn to listen, first of all. By listening, I'm putting myself out on a limb. The vulnerability shows up because if I really want to listen, I've got to absorb what you're saying and act on the basis of that.
That's interesting that you say act, because the term that's coming to my mind right now is active listening. And I believe there's a checklist for that where you listen, you repeat what they say, you comment exactly on what they're saying, and then once you got that right, then you can make your own.
Then you act.
Yes.
So action has to follow. And the action in good listening, in listening to those who are, for what reason, talking to you. They are in need, they are in conflict, they are not at peace, they are questioning, they are doubting, they're admiring, they're rejoicing, whatever. So my response to them, if I'm a good listener, and I don't claim to be a good listener, because I'm afraid what they're going to say, and then I have to act.
Of course.
So you don't let them talk. It is so when I do that, then my action will be based not upon what I think he deserves, but I think what he wants, what he needs. That's grace.
Okay.
Grace is giving without expecting any return. It may come, it often does, but if it doesn't, you say, thank you, God, and be with this person. So it is, grace always is in action when you listen with understanding.
Okay.
A fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing his opinion. That's what Proverbs says. A fool has no pleasure in understanding, but only in expressing personal opinion. In our day today, I see this happening all the time.
Mm-hmm. I do too.
Especially in politics. If you mention politics immediately, there is no desire to really listen to what you're saying. It's all yes, yeah, but, and then they bring in there.
It's very true.
Yeah, but, yes, but. Bring in any issue, yes, but there's the other side. And saying that, they shut you off.
Of course. That's called invalidating.
Invalidating, okay.
So a lot of women have problems with guys who will listen to what they say, and they'll go, but you didn't think about this. And they invalidate every thought that was just said. And that's a very common problem in marriage these days.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it goes both ways. But the stuff you hear about on the internet is mostly the women complaining about the men not listening.
Yeah.
It's the number one problem. That book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus.
Yeah.
That said the number one problem with female and males is that the females don't feel heard.
Yeah.
And so even if you listen but invalidate, you're still not listening.
Mm-hmm.
So I get that concept. That makes sense to me.
Well, it's so essential to proper interpersonal relationships.
There's that word, interpersonal again.
Intercommunity as well. And intersociety, international. We're creating more and more drones.
Okay.
By the million.
Yes.
And warfare by the drones. And we're into that now. But nobody's saying let's put a few million people dollars into talking with our adversaries. We don't want to talk.
No.
We can't get Ukrainians and the Russians together for anything. They want to continue. In Israel and Palestinians, they don't want either one. They say, oh yeah, we're talking about it. We're almost there. Days pass and pass and pass. And then they say, well, we have the framework. Well, the framework within it has some impossible demands.
Correct.
And so they go back to square one.
Okay.
But in the meantime, every day 15, 20 people are dying.
That's true.
Gaza. So I tell myself, what's going on here? What's the matter with us? And we're encouraging it.
Mm-hmm. So
there's no desire to listen. Because when you listen, the other side has a point.
There's always two sides to the coin.
Yeah. The mistake I say to my Palestinian friends is in 47 or 48, when the State of Israel was created, you weren't listening. Here are a people who've been persecuted for years and centuries, and this is their home. It's like a bird coming back to its nest. And tremendous homing instinct the Jewish people have. Jerusalem next year, the Chaim. Now, be a people to listen. What are they saying? They are saying, we need a home. And we refused. So 1 million were thrown out forcefully. And we use that as an excuse now to say, well, they threw us out, we're going to attack them. So tit for tat. And now the Israelis are not listening.
Mm.
They're not listening.
And the apple didn't fall far, huh?
When you see these poor little babies and children dying on the streets in the rubble, wait a minute, we've got to do something about that.
Not get angrier.
Yeah, not saying, well, you deserve it. Well, by saying that, you're...
Or doing that same thing to the other side.
Well, exactly. So
evil
we need...
gets evil.
Internationally, we need to listen. And to do that, we have to have grace-filled hearts, willing to give of ourselves without expecting anything in return, because I care for them.
Right.
When that feeling gets across, then tensions begin to go down.
Okay.
So this is what I'm talking about today in listening. Think of the circles in which you and I function. I think of our men's group. We don't bring up politics because there's no listening there.
Agreed.
We've given up, which is a shame. So what are we going to do?
Well, what would be not a shame in a men's group? Be able to talk about politics. Just everybody has their own opinion and everybody's entitled to it.
We'll say, let's listen to what you say and then say, you've got a good point. Let's talk about it. Instead of jumping to the conclusion of saying, oh my, how terrible. I don't know. I don't know how far we're going down the road, whether it's repairable or not. I don't think it is. So that's today's short.
Explain to me, I have a question for you. Explain to me, and let's go on to audio here. Let's just bring this to audio because I want to do picture only. I have 3 questions for you.
Okay.
And I want to put up the picture versus having people look at us. And the 3 questions I have are...
Where do they come from, those questions? They're your questions?
They are my questions.
Okay.
first question would be, what does it mean to isolate oneself in verse 1, and how can, because I had these written down before, because I went through Proverbs and I wrote down a bunch of stuff. How can seeking our own desire lead us away from wisdom? I know we kind of covered it, but I wanted to ask exactly. Whosoever isolates himself seeks his own desire. He breaks out against all sound judgment.
Well,
is this just the danger of selfishness?
Well, self-isolation is a sign of a wounded person.
Oh, wow.
I had a dog. When it disappears, it has been wounded. It's going hiding somewhere, lick his wounds.
Yes.
So isolation could be the result of being hurt and being so embarrassed that you go and hide.
Okay. Even for a lengthy period of time, even for a year, decades, huh?
Well, decades, if a person isolates that much, there's a medical problem.
Yes, I agree.
That has to be addressed medically. It's not natural for a human being to self-isolate.
Yes, and it causes a lot of damage. That's like the pandemic did a lot of damage we haven't even begun to sort out yet.
I had a young man in Long Beach a few years ago who committed suicide. He was cooped up in his room. He would not leave. And his parents didn't do anything about it. Day after day after day, and one day, boom. So parents have to be very careful and sensitive to what their young people are going through. And these days, more and more young people are involved like that.
Mm-hmm.
And seek help. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
No.
But the old days, you were ashamed that you had a son or daughter who had mental problems or whatever.
Right now, today, that's not the case.
No.
We know we all have.
Now, you can self-isolate also for good reasons. If a person is creative and wants to write, he wants to isolate. That's okay. But that person comes out of that with a product to share, whether it's music or writing or what. And if a person who is doing that is known as being a person who needs isolation, self-isolation, then we let him have that. I think that those around people like that would know the difference between one who is mentally or emotionally stressed out and is hurting,
right, or
somebody who is being creative and is writing or composing or whatever. They said, leave him alone. He's
right. Much different. Yeah, especially as a composer, I definitely understand that. When I'm creating social media or whatever, or even editing this podcast, I like to be by myself, silent, where I can just be. So I get the difference. Let's go to number 2. Why is the name of the Lord called a strong tower in verse 10? And how can we run to it in times of trouble? What does it look like practically to run to the Lord?
Well, we run to the Lord in prayer, in study, self-isolation, to do some reading, and to address God actually in words. Talk to him in a dialogue, and pour out your feelings and and begin with thankfulness. Always, if thanksgiving it becomes the first step, praise and thanksgiving, to thank God for what He has done for you, then what you now bring to God is put in the context of the history of God's graceful action in your behalf. But if you run in only with a kid saying, "Oh, something happened," immediately crying, you don't put it in perspective.
Okay.
So that's what we need to know. God is a strong tower because God's assurance that His Spirit, His Word, His community, his relational presence through others will be there for you.
Mm. I know a lot of prayers that I have with my son at night aren't this organized thing. I ask him, you know what happened today? What do you want to thank God for that happened today? And what about tomorrow? And I try not to get him too much into tomorrow because, he's 5.
Sure.
I don't want to get him going overboard because then he'll just start talking about weeks and months and years in advance or into the future. Yeah. But what happened today that you could thank God for? And it's amazing the things that comes out of his mouth, the things that he's thankful for, the little things, his little stuffed animal, the cats. He loves his cats that we have at the house. A certain blanket. Very adamantly thankful for these things. So
is it Linus with the blanket?
Yes, and Peanuts.
Peanuts.
And although that was really a security blanket, that was a security blanket.
Yeah.
You could tell how thankful he was for it. And a lot of times I think it's the simple things that we could be thankful for. Friendships and interactions. Let's go to number 3.
So when did you write these? Did you know we're doing this today?
No, I used to go to sleep listening to Proverbs when I first became a Christian.
Oh.
And I would always wake up during certain parts. And this was just one of the parts. And
That's
I just
great.
happen to have it written down.
That's great.
The last one is, according to these verses, how do our words and attitudes reflect our relationship with wisdom or folly? Example, a fool takes no pleasure in understanding, but only expressing his opinion. I stopped you on that one for a reason.
Yeah. Well, if it's
how do these verses challenge the way we speak and listen? How do these conversations? Well, you already told us how these conversations reveal our hearts, but what habits can we build to speak with more wisdom?
Okay, the habit is don't get caught in one-way conversations. If I'm talking with somebody and all that happens is all I have to do is listen, and all they do is want to talk all the time. I say, wait a minute, there's something wrong here.
Right.
There's got to be a dialogic interchange.
Okay.
And that's what makes listening.
That's why dialogue is a pure back and forth with both sides being heard.
Not only it makes listening a preferable relational thing. It's not you're the teacher, I'm the student, therefore I'm listening.
I felt that a lot in certain places I've been where I go and I'm kind of the odd man out, or I haven't been a Christian for long enough, or I don't go to that church anymore. And all of a sudden they're like, well, you don't know what you're talking about. Like, you're going to invalidate me.
Well, see, that immediately turns off. It's a turn off.
Yep.
So a good listening is always part of a good response as well. If a person is a good listener, it's because he's allowed to share his contribution to the conversation at some point.
Yes.
If he's turned off, he's not going to listen anymore.
He's not going to listen to anybody else.
Yeah.
He's not going to feel like his opinion matters.
Yeah. And in groups, in group dynamics, I've worked with groups. There are always those who stand out, who always want to be heard. They always want to talk. And people have turned them off. Oh, there goes Joe again. He's going to...
Yep. I know exactly what you're talking about. No. He's just, that's the way he is.
Yeah.
And just that's how it is, and that's not how it is at all.
No, it isn't. So it's where.
So the word dialogue seems to come back.
Well, of course.
Most people don't know what a dialogue is.
Well,
you should really look up what a dialogue is and try to practice it.
Dialogue is, to me, the source of joy because I learned something. That person has something for you. If you listen, you'll get something from that person.
I could not agree more. There have been some places where I'm listening to people going, you are so far off topic. You've gone so far, what they call off the reservation, that there's no way you could possibly, and a lot of people just walk out. And I've trained myself now to go, well, maybe there's one thing they're going to say that I can take with me. And I can't tell you how many people I've talked to that are crazier than a road lizard. Like the guy who said, I want Trump to unearth the ark.
The ark.
And bring about the end of times because then he'll really have his place in history. And I'm like,
Then
You're a schmuck. My people call those people schmucks.
I've been
but then he said something after that that almost changed my life. So I'm like, I disagree with everything you're saying, but this one little jewel, this one little chestnut was amazing. And that's sometimes what I listen for now.
Okay. That's good.
So maybe it's out there. Maybe the listeners out there will feel the same way as if they're listening to somebody that's just completely off their rocker. But maybe there's one thing they have to say that could help you.
They can, and learn one of the gifts that is enumerated by Paul when he talk about the gifts of the Spirit. One of them is discernment. Ask God to give you a spirit to discern, to listen, and to weed out that which is crap and that which is corn, good food versus the
saturated fat of the conversation.
Yeah, that and so be able to separate, and I think that's a gift that God can give you when you're listening to say, this guy's a good guy, but he's got some crazy ideas. You don't have to accept those crazy ideas, but don't let your relationship suffer because of that.
And most people do.
Yeah, I've learned in church there are all kinds of people. And as a pastor, I have to be there for them. As crazy as they may be, I'm still their pastor. It's like a father. As crazy as your son may be, he's your son. So you got to be there for him. And don't let them manipulate you so you get out of your comfort zone and forced to do things that you really don't want to do. So also
giving in to a child is very easy too. Yeah.
So ask God not only for discernment, but for the courage not to act in accordance with what is being demanded of you because you don't think it's the right thing to do.
What?
With a child, it's easy. The analogy works very easily. But with adults and a church community, how to separate the good from the doubtful and the bad is not always easy.
No.
And you ask God for strength and for wisdom and grace to accept the person even though they're crazy or destructive.
Grace definitely seems to be the one thing that I have not grasped yet.
Yeah.
It's a very complicated, many-sided kind of...
It is the essence of God to act with grace. I think when we have developed ideas of God without the God of grace and loving action, we come up not with the God that we worship, but
the God that we create,
but with a destructive demon.
Because it's easier.
Yeah, because religion is born out of fear. We have to get away from fear. Fear should not be the basis for our wanting to believe in God. But
no, and thank you, by the way. I know if you saw the text, but I texted you a picture of my son riding a mechanical Tyrannosaurus Rex.
You sent me 2 pictures.
Yes. And another one was a walking dinosaur, a raptor.
By the way, where was that taken?
The mechanical T-Rex, that's in South Bay at a place called Wonder of Dinosaurs.
I see.
Which is 2 floors of dinosaur everything.
I never heard of it.
We were there for 6 hours.
Never heard of it.
Yeah, the guy built it out of Sears backed out. So like they have this huge area they can't break down for a new tenant. So he rented it out and built like 2-3 floors of dinosaur adventures.
Oh my goodness.
It was amazing. And the second one was on a place I thought it was funny called 2nd and PCH. It's on 2nd and PCH. And it's just a strip mall, but very upscale. And they had a dinosaur day where they had little baby dinosaurs and the kids come out and touch them. And then they had an actual 6-foot, 8-foot raptor walking around. And my son was just, he went up and kissed his claw. That's how excited he was. It ended up on their Instagram.
Oh, well, yeah.
And he got all dressed up and everything. But, these dinosaur things for my son, they're his jam. He loves them. But it's odd how all the things he thanks, bringing it back to what we're talking about, at the end of the day, he never thanks God for dinosaurs. He always just thanks God for his wonderful daddy who takes him places, or the beautiful city he lives in, or things like that. It's perspective for me. Because he redlines. He's so excited. He rocks till he drops, passes out in the car. But having these moments for him are great. I really wish we could not just bring back dinosaurs, but maybe bring back some other things that help us learn dialogue, and who knows how we can leverage that.
Well, in Kentucky, where this guy has rebuilt the Ark.
Oh, wow.
It's a big one. He has dinosaurs on it.
Like to scale?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like a Disneyland attraction. Thousands of people come.
Wow.
And
I'd like to see church like that.
Yeah, well.
Dinosaur church. Every kid would.
Oh, my. Wow.
Oh, we'll edit that one out.
Well, I always used to joke, why dinosaurs went extinct, because Noah couldn't get them on his ark. He didn't know how to shoo them in. Well, or he found out he had 2 males instead of a female.
Oops.
Your imagination can take over with all
I imagine it's pretty hard to check. I don't know my dinosaur body parts, but most dinosaurs I see just look like lizards.
Yeah.
So how do you know? That's funny. Dinosaurs went extinct because they
huge
2 by
lizards.
2 males.
They shrunk in size. Daddy, I shrunk the what's the word? Daddy, I shrunk
The kids.
the kids.
Daddy, I shrunk the dinosaurs.
Daddy, I shrunk. God, I shrunk the dinosaurs, turning into lizards.
I think now we're opening up a whole new path where people would be very engaged. All right, that'll do for today.
Okay, well,
33 minutes on the book, and the questions are all via audio because it's a listening podcast. So I think it's going to be fun to edit this one for me. So I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, thank
Blessings.
you.
And we will see you for the next for 2 more weeks.
Yes.
And we're out.
Yeah.